Alright, this is round two of recording a video. The last ones all posted last week took quite a while, so I'm gonna try and make them a little bit faster from now on. So let's get into this. This is Hell. Hell just got the tier 5 skin for this season. I think it's this season. Yeah, because the summer one's Houyi, so Hell's getting this one that's coming out in the fall. Can't wait, love her. I think she's probably one of the better mages in this game currently. So let's get right into it, right? So this is a guide for the mid lane, right? You can play Hell in mid, you can play her in solo. She does well in both those roles. I think she's best in mid, where she can build a lot of power and she can really heal. To other healers, heal-wise, Hell out-heals all of them because Hell has two heals that heal for the same amount, believe it or not. She's definitely one of the better characters, one of the better healers, right? So starting items in the mid lane, you're gonna get Restored Artifact. You want to rush cooldown on her. She loves cooldown reduction, right? So when you get 1600 gold, you're gonna get Shoes of Focus, cooldown reduction, mana, movement speed, everything she loves. Then finish this. You can get a health pot instead if you want. I personally prefer multi-pot because you drain your mana so quickly when you don't have that point in your ultimate. Spirit Dust is here. You can always, it's max cooldown reduction. You can also get Divine Rune. Charon's Coin's there. It doesn't matter which one you get. Both are good. Charon's Coin, passive's great. Percentage Pen's great. If they have more than 2 tanks, I definitely recommend getting Charon's Coin. If they have only 1 tank, Spirit Desolation's really good into that. Soul Reaver, just a good item. Good mana, good power, percent pen. Ratatouille, MV5, and a shit ton of power. This also affects our healing, the passive on it. So when your ally is below 50% health, your healing actually is increased by 25% from your magical power. So just something to keep in mind. Staff of Mirrodin, it's hard to keep balance on Hell, right? But being able to, I believe it's called Repulse, or her 3 or whatever, in Dark Stance twice after stance switching is good, or the 1 in Dark Stance, or being able to heal twice in either Light Stance works good. It's just hard to balance because Hell stance switches so much throughout the game, so it's just harder to use. But it is a decent item on her. Rod of Asclepius I think is just a great item. Gives her good health. The 7% movement speed, although it's only 7%, it's still helping, especially if you get Charon's Coin. That helps, right? This is, I think it stacks at like 8, and then you gain more movement speed when it's completely stacked and you kill someone. So it's just all around, just a good, helpful item, you know. Doom Orb, also a great item here. She likes survivability, right? And that's what this whole row is, survivability, right? The longer you can stay alive in wherever you're playing Hell, the more damage and healing she's gonna really bring, right? So playing her in full mid, full burst might not be the greatest, you know, but she's not the worst she's not the worst with full damage, you know, but she does like some defenses, right? Lotus Crown, she's probably one of the best characters in the game to use Lotus Crown outside of maybe Sylvanas. And that's only because Sylvanas' heal gives protections already, so his is already a Lotus Crown. So this just double downs on his. But fun fact, the Lotus Crown passive will proc every tick of Hell's heal for her teammates. So Hell will only get the protection buff for 5 seconds, which sucks. But her teammates will get it for like, I think 11 to 13 seconds. I want to say, because it's, yeah, 11 to 13 seconds. It's really good. Breastplate of Valor is a great item. If you play her in solo and you're fighting a physical jungler and a physical solo, I honestly just rush Breastplate of Valor. Like, I'll get like maybe Mage's Blessing. Maybe I'll do a guide for that for solo when the tier 5 is released. Voidstone, again, survivability. Genji's Guard, a lot of MP5, like a lot. And then when you take magical damage, cooldowns reset, survivability, cooldown reduction, she loves it, right? So other things, right? Relic wise, right? You're gonna want Aegis. I think you should get Aegis no matter what on her. She has a way to cleanse CC, right? So beads you can kind of miss, right? But we'll talk about that later on when I get to the ability leveling, right? Magic Shell, good option. Heavenly Wings, good option. I see people get meditation on it. I don't think it's bad. I think it's decent on the early game. But just remember, it's also meditation, so it kind of isn't the greatest, you know? But it does help with your sustain, which she does suffer with. Like, no matter, even full build in the late game, Hell will suffer with that sustain. So maybe they'll make that better because she's getting the tier 5 skin. So want to sell those skins, might as well buff her. So let's start with leveling order. Like I said, this is for mid lane. I recommend always getting the 1 at level 1. It really is up to you. Both of them, I believe, do the same amount of damage. What is this? 70 plus 50, right? And then this is 80 plus 70. So this does more damage, flat out, right? But keep in mind that you can hit your enemy twice with this, right? For 140 plus 100% scaling, right? Whereas you can only hit your enemy once with this, but you can heal your way. Both are good options. Hell's really good at beating the shit out of people at level 1. I'm not saying run full force at them, right? But she does really well. Most mages can't really handle her bullshit at level 1. Especially when she hits 2, she can pretty much full clear the wave and have full lane pressure. You really want to pair her up with an early game assassin like Thanatos, right? So for this we're gonna get the 1, then 2, and then it's up to you whichever one you want. I recommend getting the 1 again. Did I say 2 for this? That's awkward, right? And then from here it's up to you. I always get this so that I have that cleanse, especially if I get Aegis. It's always helpful. And then at level 5, I see people will not pick this up. It's really up to you. But just keep in mind though, it gives you MP5 no matter what. In damage stance, it gives you 30 damage, I believe. Yeah, 30 magical damage, which helps quite a bit. And in light stance, it gives you protections. Now, one of Hell's weakest points in the whole game is the early game. Getting a bonus of that MP5 and those protections, if you're out of mana and you're trying to run away, you'll be in light stance for it. I always recommend being in light stance when you're on the run, right? Because as soon as your heal comes up, your passive meter will go all the way down to the light stance and you'll get bonus healing. So the heal will heal more, you'll gain the movement speed, and now you also have these protections from Hell, from her 5, right? So I always recommend getting her 5. Her ultimate, I always recommend getting the stance switch. Then I always max the 1, then the 3. You can put a point into this. I don't see a point in it. I don't mind it though. I don't hate it. It is quite a bit. Like, of course, like you see, it's only up by 10 each level, but 70, it's not the worst. Or like the protections, it's not the worst. And the extra MP5, you definitely need that MP5. So we're gonna put a point into it, right? And then we're just gonna max the 3, put a point into the alt. It's really just as simple as that once you get to like later stages. That's really it. Some tips and tricks for Hell, like I said, always try and run away in light stance. Don't be afraid to spam your abilities. In the light stance, landing the 1, really the only tip I can give you for that is just trying to predict where your ally is going to go or where the enemy is going to go. Also, note, it does do the same amount of damage as the 1 numbers-wise. It's just that your 1 in dark stance will do... The light stance and dark stance will do the same amount of damage, but dark stance has the power bonus from the ultimate. If you don't get the power bonus from the ultimate, they'll be about the same. Pushing towers or objectives, I always recommend staying in dark stance. The passive is really something you need to play around with. It's 20% bonus damage or 20% healing, and really, this is probably this is a really strong passive. So you just really need to pay attention to this when you're playing Hell, right? It takes 3 seconds for it to go through either one, I believe. It doesn't say it anywhere, but from playing it for so long, I believe it's 3 seconds for it to start moving. So team fights, I always recommend, if you have a high enough damage comp, stay in the light stance, heal your team, cleanse your team, slow them in dark stance, throw out your damaging abilities, and then go back to healing, right? Fighting in lane, you're gonna want to stay in dark stance the whole time, right? Or majority of the time, and then switch over to light stance, heal, and go back to dark stance. This way, you get the 20% bonus damage, right? Trying to think what else. I think that's it. I'm very excited for the Hell Tier 5. She's definitely up there as one of my favorite characters. I think she's very strong right now. I think that once they nerf Persephone and Merlin and stuff, we're going to be seeing a lot more Persephone, a lot more Hell. We won't be seeing more Persephone because she's bad. I think that's it. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.